Well, and that's a good point. For me, I just premiered my new movie, Blackwoods, which is a movie about mental health, and especially black male mental health. And so these men get out of the city, they go to like a cabin, and they're hiking, they're doing yoga, they're doing different things that you don't typically see black males do in movie, but they're also going through these real situations and these real traumatic moments and opening up about it. But I premiered it at a festival that I didn't know was going to be like a horror festival.
Oh,
yeah. So it was like, so the director of Night of the Living Dead was there, and so all these horror people like kind of submitted their films to it, and so it was mostly just white horror fans, and a lot of the movies before mine were about like how God turns his back on people. It was very demonic, devilish. I mean, people were dying. And so I'm getting nervous, like coming up to my movie. I'm like, how are these people gonna respond to this positive, uplifting, hopeful black story? Right. And then in the end of it, like people stayed for the whole thing. They clapped. They had a good Q&A. They asked some good questions. And like some of their questions were like, how did you get your actors to act that way? Are they naturally? Is that how black people naturally act, or do they have to learn to act that way? And it's because they are used to seeing black people in one type movies.
Stereotype.
It was blowing their mind to see 5 different black males who all come from different backgrounds, who show up in different ways and are all still friends and articulate in different, kind of like languages in a way that invites them into their lives. And it was like an experience that they didn't know was really out there. Right. And so I think it showed me that like you don't have to be someone who shares my values or shares my history as a person. If I write a good story with good characters and good acting, good directing, people are still going to connect with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. That goes back to I think what Ghost said on Power that time. And he's like, you know your audience, and you get them, then you get them.
Yeah, right.
And so that's key. You have to do that.
But I was just gonna say, man, I love just talking y'all values and y'all why y'all create. I think that's so important nowadays because you think about the times that we live in. I mean, very uncertain, chaotic times, but the fact that you all approach y'all craft in that way, and I love the fact that you were in that space where the demographic ain't what you probably really wanted, but them being able to see the characters you wrote and see like, wow, I didn't know this existed, or is this how it is? Because just black people, we're so diverse.
Exactly.
And you think about the media industry, the mainstream industry. I can understand them probably thinking we're all like that, but we need filmmakers, and I know that I feel like that's why filmmakers are so important, because we tell the stories, and I think we need more stories that are diverse and just talking from different views. Yeah, because again, we are a people that are very different. We're not just one thing, and I think it'd be so amazing for those stories to be told on the mainstream. And of course, Hollywood, they looking for a certain thing that's going to sell. But like I said, y'all, why, the reason. I mean, this stuff is interesting to me, and what you were saying about when I watch a film, a series, I want to be tapped in. That's my escape. Being able to sit and watch a good series, a good movie, and just being able to escape into that world of whatever's happening on that screen. So I just applaud y'all to continue pushing, and we definitely gotta push each other to keep making those stories.
When I wrote Blackwoods, the inspiration came from a real experience I had after my dad passed, and my brother invited me on this black male like wholeness wellness retreat. And it was exactly what I needed. But when we were hiking in groups of like 10, 12 black males on the trail, they'd be like, are y'all a basketball team? Are y'all traveling with someone? Like they wanted to get they could not imagine just seeing like just a line of black people out in nature. And it's like, we be out here too.
Right.
We in the woods. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I should make a movie about this. And a lot of times that's how, like, I think we were talking about,
you were talking
how do you come up with the ideas for your scripts? It's like half personal and then half just like thinking crazy thoughts of like, I wonder what happened if this.
Yes.
And one thing is to have somebody behind you who will always remind you of what your path is.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I really appreciate my wife, Angelis, because she watched a lot of the Turkey films about Muslims and their religion in their films and how they paint Christians black in their film. And she's always like, we need to also shine Christ in our film. Because you can't call yourself a Christian and there's nothing about you that shows Christ.
Right.
It means
That's
you're not
true.
proud of him.
Right.
So she's always putting me on point. That's why my film, I was thinking about, the cloud is about, I asked myself, if I have enjoyed relationship with you, like friendship with you, if I enjoyed good food from the restaurant, if I have somebody cared for me before, it means somebody saved the baby. If we are all here, because somebody saved the baby. That's why we met today. So that's why I made my film The Cloud. So we always need to shine what is in us, and tell people this is who black people is. We are not that what is portrayed in Hollywood. So as creative, I always tell people, tell the good story about your people. Don't paint us black. Don't let people think, oh, we are always in crime, we are always in this. Let's shine it. Even if we want to tell the stories about drugs and all that, what is the end?
What's the
What's the hard
end?
line? And that's what I say to people too. It's like, that's some people's story. Like, if you are in that and that's where you are from, then like you are able, like, tell that story.
You can't
tell it in a way that honors where you're from.
Exactly.
But like, don't use it as a way of like glorifying it in a way of like the people want it, so we need it, almost like fast food. So you're giving it to them without thinking about it, but not taking an extra layer to say, what do I want to say about it?
Exactly. Or why did this happen? Like I said, that's the reason I like telling real stories and real stories of hope, because that did happen and it is crazy. And what I love about what you just said, if it's really in my life, we don't have to dramatize it.
Exactly.
We don't have to make it bigger. Tell it the way it was. It went like this, and then now what is the message that we want the audience to take away? Or how did he feel when that happened? What was his thought process in it? I think those are the part, and that's like my favorite part of storytelling is the character development, because you really have to get into that character to tell this story right, or the story will get lost in what you just said. What we all see.
Yeah, people need that, because a lot of people are experiencing what you wrote and they can relate to that character, and they're like, and they're like, okay, so if she was able to get through there and went through all of that, then maybe I can.
Yes.
And hope. So people, when we, as writers and filmmakers and actors,
don't dramatize.
We have to know that what we're doing is helping somebody. Somebody out there is going through that and can relate. So we got to give it everything that we can. So absolutely.
And I know I didn't start out this way, but something you said, about black experience in Cincinnati, my films have like a historical tint. Like the first one, System, was from a short story turned into a script from something I wrote in high school that I just brought up and decided, let me see what this would look like. We put it together. And then obviously 1966 is about my uncle, 1966, playing at UC. And then the next film is, about the Cincinnati Black Brigade, which was the first recognized black army unit during the Civil War.
Is that a narrative, or are you doing a documentary on that?
No, that's actually a dramatic film. It's going to be a film. It's actually going to be the first full length that I do. Wow. So, we're going to have a nice run up to it. But the stories kind of fell in my lap. Obviously the first one I wrote, and then I was going through my papers because I was looking for something to do for the camp, and it was there. I wrote it. And then the second one, I picked up a picture at my father's house, and I was like, who is this? What is this? He told me that, so my gears started turning on that. This is an interesting story. And then the last one, I'm walking downtown behind the Red Stadium, the whole monument. And so, the question I ask myself is, who knows about this?
Right.
What do they know about it? And what can I tell them?
Yes.
And then how can I tell them in an entertaining fashion? So that's kind of how, I put that together. Now, branching off of that, and I know, Cameron, you mentioned the director of Night of the Living Dead, who probably doesn't fall in this category, but what directors inspired you? And I could, you got one?
Yeah, I got
one.
one. Oh, okay.
I was gonna start.
For me,
we needed a moment to think.
No, for me, it's Spike Lee. I think Do the Right Thing. Well, the thing I love about Spike, and I don't think he gets his credit as a all-time great director as much as he should, because a lot of Oscars didn't give him his due until Black Klansman. Yeah. But I think he found a way to tell interesting Black stories without them being classified as just Black. Yeah. Like his movies were able to cross over into a variety of different audiences, and he just has this ability of putting himself in there, but also getting the best out of his actors and telling like stories that you feel like where he's from because you watch his movies. Yeah. And so I say him, and then I say Jordan Peele, because Jordan Peele has shown me he was the inspiration for my movie Holy Zombie, which you think, what does Jesus and zombie have to do with each other? And it's really because Jordan Peele showed me that like you can use horror and you can use dark monsters and things like that to tell impactful stories. Like when you think about Lovecraft Country, Get Out, like even how he rewrote and reproduced Candyman as part of that. Like he has this mind that takes horror and comedy and shows you kind of what you're saying, different levels of America, different levels of culture, and makes you think about it in different ways.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I love Brian De Palma. His run in late 80s and the 90s was incredible. I mean, he had Carrie, he had Untouchables, Scarface, Carlito's Way.
I ain't know the name, but I
Just like Cameron said, even though you're talking about New York, that he put you in it. And you felt it. And the different eras he was talking about, and just how he did his scenes, between the close-ups and then the panoramic shots of cities, So Brian De Palma, really influenced me.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was definitely gonna say Spike Lee.
Me too. That's all like
that. But one person I will say I loved growing up was Steven Spielberg, and I loved him because his films were out of the box, and he was so young when he started, but. If y'all ain't know, Steven Spielberg born in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I did. I know that Avondale somewhere.
Born in Cincinnati. But I just love that his films were disruptive. It was not in a bad way, but it was just different for Hollywood. Just the level Jaws and all that stuff. It was just different. So yeah, Steven Spielberg.
Okay. I would say Quentin.
Yeah.
Because he did it like an independent filmmaker. Mm-hmm. He did things on his own, things he wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And what I say to people is there's no structures for art. Because the first person who made film made it his way.
Right.
So if there's no filmmaker in the world and I'm the only filmmaker, people will learn my style.
Right.
My style becomes the benchmark for everybody.
Right.
That's what they say about Andy Warhol paintings too. You look at them long enough, the people look like the painting.
Yeah, so I tell people if I pay more attention to Quentin, then it means I want to be somebody else.
Right.
But I am just taking his motivation to do things on his own. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And the next person I love is Fincher, David Fincher. I love how he plays with camera.
Gotcha. What did he do?
He used.
Well, as far as films.
He did this film with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt.
The Seven.
Is it
The Seven? Yeah.
Seven.
He did The Room.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And he did the new one on Netflix. The guy was a spy. He was a sniper. The Killer. It's a new film on Netflix.
Okay.
So he plays with camera a lot.
Okay.
Because he would just put the camera here, but he would use After Effects to move the camera. He can let the camera move through here to pick you closer.
Okay.
So I love to play with camera. So when I see his shots and how he communicates stories with the camera, I'm so in love with that.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Jordan Peele.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Jordan, to me, he puts black people in a different spot. He makes black people the lead. He makes black people the best characters in the film. He makes you pay attention to the black people in his films.
Right.
And then all the other race, he just put them somewhere.
So,
Sorry.
Unfortunately, you know, 'cause we could talk for
Forever.
2 more hours.
Right.
We're coming up on time, so I would like to thank everybody for being here, and we'll have additional episodes of Innovative Artists Camp and the square tables.
Yeah.
Might throw some round tables in. Maybe we can get you guys back, some of you guys back in other episodes, and we can further this conversation. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Really positive,
you.
and
Thank
let's wrap this.
Yeah.
Go back to work on our projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to it.
Thank you.
Back to set.
Thank you.
That's a wrap.